We are just a week away from Election Day 2024. Over the last couple of days, there's been some major news that is going to impact this election. I want you to stick with me throughout the video. We're going to cover some different scenarios. We're going to use the most updated polls based on some major polling agencies. I want you to stick with me because I'm going to bring some information to you that you need to know about, especially as it concerns Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Nevada. You need to see this to believe it. We're going to start right now on November 5th, 2024, and let's just dive into these numbers as the polls close. On the 7 p.m. closing, there are 60 electoral college votes needed to win. And as you know, 270 is the magic number. That's the number that the candidates, Vice President Kamala Harris and the former 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, are trying to get to. 270 is magic. So let's make our way to the 7 p.m. closings. First state, Georgia, 16 electoral college votes. Georgia at the 7 p.m. closing will be too close to call. Let's go to Indiana. Indiana, it's going to be an easy red win for President Trump. He'll win that state fairly easily, 58 to 42, 60-40. Not going to be any problems for him there. We're also going to go down to South Carolina. That is a very easy win for the former president. Kentucky also will go red. And right off the bat, these particular three states, they're going to be called within 10 minutes of those poll closings. So Trump will jump out to a 28-0 lead over Kamala Harris. We're going to go over to Vermont. Vermont's going to be an easy call. That's very blue. And those 4 electoral college votes will go for the vice president. Apologize, a little pause right there. Virginia, in the early stages of this campaign, there were some polls that had this thing tied, and a couple of them had Biden up by about 3 to 4 points. Since the current president of the United States, Joe Biden, withdrew on July 21st, Kamala had a very swift power grab there in the state of Virginia, and she's doing very well. Trump is polling better than was expected, but he's not going to be able to gain any traction. Those 13 electoral college votes will go to the vice president of the United States. Again, as we're looking, Georgia at the 7 p.m. closing will be too close to call. We're going to jump to the 7:30 poll closings. And we're going to see something very interesting here play out. North Carolina, 16 electoral college votes. That will be too close to call. Too close to call. 7:30, Ohio, 17 electoral college votes. There was a time in 2016 when Hillary Clinton was leading in this on Election Day, 2016. She was up by some 6 points. But Trump came in and stole Ohio from her, and he increased his winning margin in 2020 against Joe Biden. Ohio is red. Trump is up 45 to 17. West Virginia, very dark red. Those 4 electoral college votes will go for Trump. But there's a bigger story playing out in West Virginia. There is a Senate race going on there. This Senate seat has been held by Democrats for years by a very prominent and very highly respected Democratic Senator, Joe Manchin, in a very red state. Over the last couple of years, Joe Manchin he said that his values have not lined up with the current Democratic Party. He has distanced himself from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and he is now retiring. He's retiring. Former West Virginia Governor Jim Justice, very popular governor, won the Republican nomination. He's winning this state by such a large margin. There are no polls that are being taken. He will win that Senate seat by 70 to 30. The Republicans will flip West Virginia. It will go from blue to red in the Senate. So West Virginia goes red down the ballot. We're going to go to the 8 p.m. The 8 p.m. poll closings. 171 electoral college votes are up for grabs. We're going to go right to a couple of easy ones here. Alabama will go for Trump. We're going to move up here to the East Coast, to the deep East Coast. Connecticut will go for the vice president. Delaware will go for the vice president. Florida, very interesting here. Florida in 2016 was going to be the state that put the first female president in office, breaking the glass ceiling. Well, President Trump had something special planned that night, and he snatched Florida from Hillary Clinton, and then he improved his situation in 2020 over Biden. Florida's 30 Electoral College votes will go for Donald Trump. We're going to go to Illinois. Illinois will be blue. Not as dark blue, though, as some people anticipate. This is a state that both Clinton and both of his wins and Barack Obama's two successful campaigns, along with Joe Biden as well, they dominated Illinois. She's not polling well there as well as she should be. She should be winning the state by about 20 points. And some of the polls have her up by about 14 or 15. And the black male vote is going to be huge. Let me tell you, throughout this video, we're going to discuss the black male vote, 24 to 45-year-olds. They are having a lot to say in this election. It won't matter as much in Illinois as it's going to matter in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and possibly even North Carolina. We will touch base on that later in the video. We're going to go to Maine. Maine has a split electoral college. So you're going to have 2 of Maine's 4 votes will go to the winner of the popular vote. That will definitely be Vice President Kamala Harris. But then they do something else there. They do something else a little different there in Maine. They have a district, and there are 2 districts. Now, District 1 will go for Vice President Harris. District 2 will go red. Donald Trump will take one of those 4 electoral college votes in the state of Maine. Roughly about 89 to 49 at this early stages of the 8 p.m. closings. Maryland is going to be very blue. Maryland will go for the vice president. New York will go for Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, interesting story in New York. There is a couple of very close House seats that are being contested and highly fought after here. Very close races. There are 2 Republican House seats that they flipped in 2022, and they're trying to hold on to those. So we'll see. Vice President Harris is not polling well in New York. She's only up by about 18 points there. A couple of polls have her only up by 14. Let me explain the significance of this. In the state of New York, both Bill Clinton's wins, both of Barack Obama's wins and Joe Biden's wins were 25% or higher. The vice president is only winning this state by about 15 to 18 points. That is insane. She should be really, really carrying this state into the 20% range. If this holds up on election night, and she's only able to carry this state by 17, 18%, it's going to give you an idea of how the voters are thinking in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, and yes, even Minnesota. When I get to Minnesota, I've got a story for you that you're going to want to hear, so stick with me. But New York is going to be blue. It's just not going to be dark, dark, dark blue. This is a concern in the Harris campaign. Massachusetts, very blue. It's going to go for Vice President Harris. Let's jump over here to Mississippi. That will go for President Trump. The most liberal state in the United States of America, home to Bernie Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders. New Hampshire, that is going to go blue. New Jersey, Trump was doing fairly well while Biden was in the race, but New Jersey has found its roots and come back home and will go blue to Vice President Harris. She has now taken a very small lead of 115 to 95 over Trump. We are going to now move over into the Midwest. We're going to go to Missouri. Missouri will go for Trump. Oklahoma will also go for the former 45th President of the United States. Pennsylvania's 8 p.m. poll closings. This state will be too close to call. Stick with me. I've got some incredible information and data regarding Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. You have to see this, okay? Rhode Island. Still on the 8 p.m. closings, Rhode Island is a very very blue state that will also go for the vice president. District of Columbia, that's a no-brainer. That's going to be very, very, very blue. About as dark blue as you can get when you're talking about District of Columbia. The vice president was rallying there yesterday. She's going to win this 91% to 9. It's 3 electoral college votes will definitely go for her. Tennessee will go for the former president of the United States of America. And we are rolling right along. 8:30 poll closing. There's just one, Arkansas. That race will be called within 15 minutes of those poll closings. Those 6 electoral college votes will go for the Republican candidate. We are now into the 9 p.m. hour, the second largest haul of electoral college votes. 163 electoral college votes are up at the 9 p.m. poll closings. Arizona, first on the list. Arizona initially is going to be too close to call. Colorado, very blue. Colorado is now moving further left and is really starting to kind of mirror California and California politics there. Iowa will be Republican hold. Kansas will also be very solid red, as well as Louisiana. Louisiana is going to be a 65-35 kind of thing, very conservative. Michigan will close at 9 p.m. That race at the close of the polls will be too close to call. Minnesota, interesting scenario today. Many of the major news outlets are now calling Minnesota a swing state. That's insane. This was polling 8 to 10% for Vice President Harris early in the campaign. What's taking place now, Trump has made some headway. The most current polls have him within 4.8 to 5.2%. Minnesota is considered a swing state. It's going to go blue, but it's going to be interesting to see how close Trump can get. How close can he get on November 5th? That's going to be very, very interesting. Nebraska, red, but Nebraska also splits its electoral college votes. The popular vote will get 3, okay? And then there's we'll get 2. There's 3 other districts. District 1 will go for Trump. District 3 will go for Trump, but District 2, which is kind of geared up and built around Omaha area, is polling about 8 to 10% for the vice president. So she'll get that 1 electoral college vote there that could play a very big role as the evening progresses. New Mexico will go for Vice President Harris, but not by a large margin. There are some experts that believe New Mexico could come down as low as 5%. It could be a 55-45 kind of thing. We'll see how that works out, but it's going to go blue nevertheless. All the way over to New York. We already saw that New York is going to go for the vice president. North Dakota, South Dakota, very red. Those 3 electoral college votes in each one of those states will go to Trump. And let's come down to Texas. Texas is in 2 time zones. That's why it's on the 9 p.m., the closing. Texas 2016 was polling for Clinton about 5% on election night. Trump rolled over Clinton in 2016, and he took that state very strongly in 2020 from Joe Biden. Texas will go red, but there's a big Senate race going on there. Ted Cruz looking for his second term as a senator. He should win this state by about 5 to 6%, but he's only up about 3% right now. Some polls have Colin Alderwood within 1. Those polls aren't very reliable polls. The 2 polls that you see most reliable does have Cruz taking this. Vice President Harris was there last Friday with Beyonce, some big money donors trying to raise money for the Democrat senatorial candidate, hoping to kind of flip this. It's going to be close, but not going to happen. Texas is going to go red up and down the ballot. Wisconsin, 9 p.m. poll closing. Going to be too close. Stick with me. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. I've got something to show you that's really, really going to blow your mind. Wyoming's 3 electoral college votes will go red. We are now headed over to the mountain ranges. 10 p.m. closing. Montana's 4 electoral college votes will go red. Little side note, there's a huge senatorial race going on in Montana. Democrat Senator John Tester, yes, a Democrat senator in a very red state, was doing very well, but the opposite happened to him when Joe Biden pulled out. While Biden was in the race, Tester was managing to hold on to about a 5-point lead over Tim Sheehy, the Republican candidate. As soon as Biden pulled out and Harris was given the nomination, Tim Sheehy gained like 10 percentage points in the polling, and he is now dominating the Democrat incumbent. Montana's going to flip from a blue Senate seat to red, and because of West Virginia and Montana, the Republicans are guaranteed. There's no doubt about it. It's a 101% guarantee the Republicans will flip the U.S. Senate and take over those reins on January 20th of 2024. So a lot more going on out there than just a presidential race. Utah, very red. Utah is going to go for Donald J. Trump. Nevada. Nevada will be too close to call when those polls close. Let's go out here to the west. Washington's an easy call. Excuse me, I'm getting excited there. For Kamala Harris. Trump at this point, though, in this sea of red, this is a huge sea of red, Trump will win, or excuse me, will have a 212 to 160 lead. Oregon, an all mail-in ballot state only. Very interesting politics taking place out there. Some polls had Trump down by 10, but there's some more current polls now that have him about that 5 to 7% range. Going to be very, very interesting. California's a no-brainer. All 54 of those electoral college votes are going to go for the vice president. She now takes a lead. Once those West Coast polls begin to close, and these three states will be called fairly quickly. Oregon may be, it's inevitable, Oregon's going to be blue, but they're an all mail-in ballot. So it's going to take a while to count those during the day. Those results will trickle in during the day and overnight. She'll get it, but Washington and California are going to be called within about 10 minutes after those polls closed. Let's go to Idaho. Idaho, red, Trump, 4 electoral college votes. 222, 216. How close is this? We're going to go to Alaska. Trump gets those 3, and now he's closed the gap to within 3. Vice President Harris will win Hawaii. We're going to go into these tight swing states now. Harris is up 226 to 219. Let's do something quickly. Some of you may disagree with me, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm 100% correct on this. I'd put my house on this. Arizona is no longer going to be a swing state. Vice President was out there today. It's not going to matter. Arizona is Republican. It's going to be red. Trump was down by 6 points to Clinton on Election Day 16 and the same amount to Biden. He barely lost to Biden by a few thousand votes, less than 10,000 votes. If Trump is up by 2 points here, which the polls have him up by 2 points, he's going to probably win this thing by 5 points. Nevada's going to be too close to call. We'll get back there in just a minute. But I do want to show you the Nevada poll. 270, very, very, very reliable polling agency. They collect polling data. Nevada is, excuse me, I've lost it here real quick. I apologize. Let me get over here. Nevada is, Trump's up 0.4 of a point. Very close. The last poll was just a couple of days ago. Trump's up 0.4 of a point here. He was up throughout the early part of his 2024 campaign. And Harris gained some ground up there. She did very well. Something she was saying was resonating. But Trump's base has come back, and he's up slightly. I'm not going to be able to call that one just yet. But we do want to go over some things. when we get back to the state of Nevada. Georgia, Georgia is like Arizona. Georgia is going to go red. Trump is going to win this state. He's going to be up 246 to 226. He's only 24 electoral college votes away from the presidency, from the 47th presidency of the United States of America. We're going to go over here. I'm going to show you some things in Wisconsin. Wisconsin, RCP, Real Clear Politics, very reliable, very credible polling gathering agency, has Trump up by 0.6 of a point. I want to show you something over here, though, and this is really, really, really amazing. I looked at 270, and I was trying to determine whether, where does Trump fit into this whole thing? Like, he was down, he's up, he's down, he's up. Remember yesterday, over the weekend, Trump had taken over the lead in Wisconsin midweek last week and going into the weekend. We get up here get up Wednesday morning, and this thing's flipped like 2 points, and we're trying to understand. We're all trying to crunch the data and see, like, what happened? Like, what happened here? Well, I'm going to show you what happened, and it's actually kind of funny, and I'll let you figure it out. I'll let you decide. Look at these polls. Marquette 50-49, Redfield Whitten 59-49-47. Look at these 49-49. Everything's tight. Well, overnight, CNN comes up with this poll that's got Harris up by 6 points. How is that? I mean, that's insane to me. I'd like to know where their numbers are at. But something that's even more scary is the margin of error is almost 5%. That tells me this is a junk poll. Everyone else is tied or 1 or 2 points to the plus or minus for each candidate. CNN comes with a 6-point poll. That is insane. That is crazy. It does not match up with 538, which is an ABC News, Disney polling company, or Wisconsin. We're going to go back and talk about this in just a few minutes. Wisconsin is still going to be too close to call. Let's go to Michigan. You saw Michigan just in the last 24 hours. Michigan did the same thing. Harris has gone from down 0.2, 0.3 to up almost 2 points. How does this happen? Let's dive in. What happened to Michigan overnight? Well, guess what? You see the same thing. Everybody's within 1 or 2 points, but somehow CNN jumps into the mix, and they have come up with this +5 for Harris. No one else has this. Where are they getting this from? Their margin of error is almost 5%, which means this poll is a junk trash poll. If you want to go over to RCP, she's only up by 0.5 point. So Michigan at the poll closing and late into the evening is going to be too close to call. We're going to go back here to Nevada. Trump has done very well in Nevada. If you look at the Nevada polls, the RCP poll, apologize, my stuff is loading a little bit slow here, but you even post Biden, jumping out of the race, Kamala coming in, he was doing very well. We don't know what necessarily happened here around August. We were trying to do some research. Did Trump say something? Was there, some polling data back here that was skewed? We couldn't find anything. Just a sentiment. We don't know if there was a part of Nevada that had not been polled, but Harris enjoyed a fairly comfortable lead, 0.5 point, 1 point, and she was moving very well. And then the roles reversed the first part of October. Nevada is going to be a big player in this election. It's going to be huge. At the end of the night, Nevada will go red to Donald J. Trump. Trump is now only 18 electoral college votes away from the presidency. I just covered the anomalies in the Michigan and the Wisconsin polls for you. We're going to go down to North Carolina. Donald Trump won North Carolina handily in 2016 and 2020, even though on election day, he was 3 to 5 points behind Hillary Clinton. He was also behind Joe Biden. There are so many unaccounted voters. Most of these voters that you see in North Carolina, excuse me, I want to go say white registered voters that do not have a 4-year degree. They're called the non-4-year degreed white voter. They're registered voters in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. All 4 of these states have 40% plus of those voters. They don't answer polls. They don't answer phone calls. They do not respond. They just go to the poll on election day. North Carolina is going to go red. And when you look at all the data that is coming in, I just showed you what's taking place in Michigan. CNN, the 6-point poll has just skewed all the polls. We don't know where they got that information from. It's just craziness. But if you want to go take a look at RCP, let's go what RCP is saying. Trump is doing very well in Pennsylvania. He has regained the lead here around the first part of October. He's up by nearly 1 percentage point. You go over here to 270. He's now taken the lead in the 270 poll. That poll is very close. He's almost up by a percentage point. On November 5th, 2024, and in the early morning hours of November 6th, 2024, you're going to see Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania will go for the former president and now the 47th president of the United States of America. Trump will win this election by nearly 100 electoral college votes. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. I would love your comments. I accept your criticism. I accept your thumbs up, thumbs down, but hit that like button and also subscribe. You're going to get first dibs on my videos that are going to be coming out twice a day until election day, and then join me on November 5th, 2024. I will be streaming live, and I'm going to cover this election like no one else live streaming. I am going to cover state by state, county by county. We're going to get into the tight House races. We're going to get into the Senate races. It's going to be an amazing evening next Tuesday, November 5th. I'll see you then.